Ho, ho, ho. What up, what up, what up? It's yours truly, Mr. TALIAFERRO. My annual Christmas giveaway is on the way. Last year we did it on YouTube. This year we're going to do it on my Instagram account. So if you want to win AirPods, gift cards, and a lot of other stuff, you want to make sure you're following me on Instagram at itsmrtaliaferro. You're in the running to potentially win some AirPods and a lot of cool gifts this holiday season. Enjoy the video. What's going on? It's yours truly. Just say it with me. They call me Mr. TALIAFERRO. How's everybody doing out there? So let's just get the information out of the way, and then I'll go into much more detail about Tekashi 6ix9ine's sentencing today. He now knows his fate. Yes, Tekashi 6ix9ine for his involvement in the racketeering charge against the 9 Trey set, which pretty much most of these guys have already got double-digit year sentences. Most of these guys got 10 to 15 years. Tekashi 6ix9ine will not be doing 10 to 15 years, but he also will not be getting out today on time served like many, including self, believed he would. Judge Paul Engelmeyer in a New York courtroom today told Tekashi 6ix9ine that you won't be getting out today, but you won't be doing too much more time. Tekashi has already served 13 months in prison, and he'll now do an additional 11 months. Yes, so in total, Tekashi 6ix9ine was sentenced today to 2 years in prison, 5 years of a supervised after his release, and then he's got 300 hours of community service, and he's going to have to pay a fine as well. Again, I don't want people to get caught up in the time served thing, meaning I don't want people to think just because Tekashi didn't get out today because you wanted to see this spectacle of 6ix9ine getting out of prison today for your social media and all that. I don't want you to get caught up in everything. This is a bargain for 6ix9ine. This is a dub. Think about this in totality, what has happened. This man told someone, I want more street cred. How do you get more street cred? Go get real street dudes and put them around me. He fake joins this 9 Trey set for the street cred, for the music videos. He go gains this crazy popularity. He go gets super popping, the videos through the roof, and then there's turmoil within the 9 Trey set. I'm not just going to say Tekashi was the only dude behind the scenes not being loyal to the set. It looks like it was all the way around. All these dudes turned on each other. So you agree to work with the feds, and Judge Paul Engelmeyer in court today, he did release a bit of new information for us. Tekashi has met with the feds since this case started 26 times. So you agree to work with the feds, you plead guilty. All the people you ratted on, they doing double-digit year sentences. You get a tap on the wrist. 2 years plus time served. This dude might potentially be out next summer. He'll be out before the end of 2020. I know there was this growing notion that he'd get out today, but be clear, Tekashi 6ix9ine still won. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at itsmrtaliaferro. Christmas giveaway is coming soon. So now I want to take some time out to go much more in depth with the trial today. So I'm going to read off some tweets from Inner City Press. This outlet was actually inside of the courtroom as Tekashi 6ix9ine was being sentenced. It is worth noting that he was in a blue scrub. He did speak. I'm not going to read every tweet that I got here from Inner City Press. I'm going to just kind of sum you up here in about 2 minutes of exactly what happened in court today, just for, we're going to do this just for time's sake, and we're going to do this for history's sake, right? Here's what happened today. Apart from the number and vengefulness of these attacks, there's also the part of it that benefited you. Before you, the gang didn't fight with rap entourages. They had no independent interest in going after musicians and their management groups. You used 9 Trey as a potent means of getting even with your rivals. You claim you foolishly commingle with members of the gang, but it's more than that. The attacks would not have happened, Tekashi, without you. Judge Paul Engelmeyer continues by saying, Shotty said he carried an assault rifle to protect you from the beefs you started. He was recorded by Jorge Rivera saying this. You didn't shoot, Tekashi, but you are responsible. And so, I reject this portrait of you as a passive participant. You told the U.S. Probation Department you were brainwashed by the gang. That might be partially true, but the relationship was symbolic. They got something out of it, but so did you. Your first crime, use of a child in a sexual performance. You said the same thing like you saying today. The older acquaintances were having sexual intercourse with the underage girl. That excuse might have worked once, but it doesn't work twice. You have not been charged with using the members of the gangs as extras. You used them to much effect in Gummo. It was your artistic license to do that since you're an artist. You are not being sentenced for that. Bruce Springsteen sang about murder. You essentially joined your choice to join. Your choice to join non-trade was unnecessary. I see a lot of gangs like a 76 defended Bronx case. They fell in it at a young age. That excuse is not available to you, Tekashi. By the time you begin with non-trade, you are a nationally famous rapper. You had a prosperous future. Your counsel says he joined to break out of poverty. I am not buying that. You were set. As a result of your musical career, you could have gotten the advice of security people and presumably lawyers and accountants. I have sentenced hundreds of defendants for gang activity. Your daughter had nothing to do with your decision. But for your cooperation, you would get a very long sentence. When you began to cooperate in November 2018, some incidents the government didn't know about, but you knew about it a lot. The April 3rd robbery, the 2 April 18th shootings. Your driver had been cooperating for many months against you. The attack on Frenchie's van was captured on security video. I therefore conclude that one way or another, the full range of your conduct would have come to light. Your cooperation was courageous. The danger to you is multiplied by your music career, which I understand you intend to continue. The fact that you are unusually recognizable does no help to you. You met with the government 26 times, reviewing social media messages and decoding them. Your cooperation enabled the government to take down a violent gang beyond the 6, including you named in the initial indictment. You testified at the trial this fall. I saw you standing to make sure you were measuring your words right. You testified in harsh glare of nationwide publicity. There were 2 other cooperators, but you squarely implicated the 2 defendants. The jury's 2 not guilty verdicts on firearm charges did not implicate your testimony. If you have little doubt if the jury were asked if a firearm had been brandished during your kidnapping, they would have said yes, and today you apologize. I have no doubt that the process of cooperation has been cathartic. For all these reasons, you deserve a very substantial reduction, and you will receive one. I followed some of the commentary during the trial. I took much of it in good fun. Maybe he followed Mr. Taliaferro platform. I appreciated the memes, whether at your expense or mine, but I need to say non-trade was violent, not to be glorified. Cooperation of criminal insiders is a necessary tool. Imagine the members of the non-trade free today. There was the slashing victim. Any one of you could have been in Times Square or the Barclays Center or in the street with Kufano Jordan, aka Shotty, or Anthony Young. You are famous for cooperating. No gang will want to work with you. Everything I've seen suggests to me this has been a searing experience for you. You have squandered 13 months so far. I do not expect you to be tempted to commit violence again. If you do, I am the judge in your case and your economic self-interest. You have struck a lucrative deal. This situation is unusual. You are very fortunate, and you will land on your feet, Tekashi. So far as your story appears to prove that there is no such thing as bad publicity, in the end, my judgment is that 13 months is not enough. I've considered other 5K sentences in gang violence. 13 months is outside the mainstream. Mr. Hernandez, if you were expected to be released today, you will be disappointed. But you were wise to cooperate. Your cooperation will result in years more liberty. Mr. Hernandez, please rise. It is the judgment of the court. You are sentenced to serve a 24 months in prison, 5 years of supervised release. And we're going from there. I impose 300 hours of community service. When you get out, a fine of 35 grand. The worst part is over. There's a great deal to be admired about you. You learned a hard lesson here. I wish you very well. And then that meeting and that sentencing was adjourned. Again, Tekashi 6ix9ine, he got 2 years in prison. He's already done 13 months. He'll be out in 2020 at some point. Closing up here, I think for 6ix9ine, it'll be much better for him to get out in a year's time for his safety. Obviously, you want to get out behind them bars any chance you get at the quickest time you can get. But for 6ix9ine situation, just put it like this. There were a lot of eyes waiting on 6ix9ine to get out today. And I believe for his safety, it will be good for him. Now, there's still going to be media outlets covering this because, again, in a year's time, he'll still get out before Bobby Shmurda, most likely, who's set to get out in 2020 at some point. There'll still be a lot of media attention on it. But I believe it'll be in his team's best interest, you know, since he did decide not to take he could have went into protective custody. Since he decided to not do that, I believe the feds will work with him enough to at least let him try to plan out his release and try to get him out of harm's way as much as possible. Try to make it as least a spectacle as possible. Here's the problem with 6ix9ine. He talked too damn much. He's going to reach out to DJ Academics. I'm just going to be real with y'all. He's going to reach out to some of the other blog sites, and he's going to let them know when he's getting home. His team talks too much. Whoever's left from his team, they talk too damn much. They're going to let people know that what day he's coming home. So he's probably going to ruin any type of plan that the feds put together to get him home the safest way possible without as many people knowing. He talked too damn much. Charlamagne at the Breakfast Club, he said something that I heard a couple days ago, and I took it as bond. 6ix9ine and his team already reached out to Charlamagne and Envy for an interview. They asked Charlamagne, can he do a personal interview with him? And then Charlamagne threw at him like, yo, if we gonna do it, it will be on the Breakfast Club. And then Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club on the air, they reneged. They said they don't want no parts of it because they don't want to support what he represents. But be clear, his team thought he was getting out today. I've been telling y'all that for months now. His team that he's got left, they just thought and knew he would get out on time served. He did not get that, but he did not get too far from it. If you listen to what I just read to you guys from Judge Paul Engelmeyer, you hear that he was very understanding of the memes. He was very understanding that Tekashi will continue his career as a musician, and he gets it. He did not tell Tekashi not to rap about criminal activity. He just told him not to physically partake in it. He even referenced another artist saying, yo, other people talk about crimes. That don't mean they act on them. That you can sing about it, just don't do it. So be clear, Tekashi is coming out of prison as 6ix9ine. I'm talking about every ounce of it. He will be one of the most booked artists. He will have one of the most streamed sets. His music will be, y'all don't understand how big the deal is going to be. And it sucks because he represents the entire wrong thing. This dude ratted on his homies. He literally told on everybody. The judge, I'm not going to disagree with his sentencing. I'm not a judge. I'm not a legal representative. I don't get that part of the game. That's not what y'all follow me for. But I will say this. I disagree with him on one part. Judge Engelmeyer said, you've learned a valuable lesson that people can learn from you from. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly. There is nothing commendable about what Tekashi 6ix9ine represents. He was a good kid. Probably a poor kid, though. And he thought to get the fame, money, and success the quickest way possible. He thought it would be cool for him to join some real shit. Get around real street niggas who did real street things. And he made them go to a next level with their crime. They doubled down on all the stupid shit they was doing. He boosted their platform up. They used him. He used them. This little Hispanic kid got a lot of black dudes locked up. When it got too hot and they said, yo, you got to sit down for a minute, he ratted. He told, he snitched, he worked with the feds, he met with them 26 times. And for his cooperation, he'll be home before the end of 2020. Able to go on with his life, enjoy his family. Those other dudes that partook in crimes as well, they don't get that luxury. They'll be out in some of them in their 40s, 50s, late 30s. I don't believe this is justice, but I do believe it is the American way. How ironic. On the same day that we await the impeachment of Donald Trump, we see the most American thing possible there is. Go do wrong to people, rat and tell on other people who are not as fortunate or as educated as you, and you get out early. That is the most American thing I've ever seen in my life. I thank you guys so much for your time, love, and support. I don't take it for granted. Tekashi 6ix9ine gets 2 years. Again, already did 13 months of that sentence. He'll be out in 2020. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids, they tuned in.
We locked in right now,
Mr. Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr. Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV.